Research Institute, Andishe Online, Germany, AOG. Themes from the University. Theme 11. Perfection process. Reincarnation or ascending method. Part 3. Descending curve in the process of spiritual perfection. In Master Elohim's University of the Perfection Process teachings, each person's soul consists of two main parts. The human or basharic soul has, through a long and complex process, left behind the mineral, plant, and animal phases and, together with genetic influences and some of the 7 factors of creation, has formed an intellectual magnetic field capable of reconstructing a human physical body from chromosomal information, thus securing its biochemical life. On the other hand, an extraordinary phenomenon known as the heavenly soul, responsible for thought and creativity, is directly created by God. This soul has a permanent connection with the origin of creation due to the existence of a particle called the divine particle. Whenever this soul is to experience an earthly life, according to the data of its karma system, one of the basharic or human souls formed on earth is reserved for it. The beyond heavenly soul knows which basharic, human soul belongs to him. This basharic soul, together with other effects, immediately creates a body during the fertilization phase. This body, which is in the womb, is supported by the same heavenly soul, which must remain in the afterlife until the end of the pregnancy. At the moment of birth, the celestial soul merges with the basharic soul of this newborn child, and together they will form a true self or TS through a complex process of dominance. This process is confirmed and completed with the first cry of the baby. We will discuss the dominance processes in future articles. The present purpose is to present the content of Master Elohim's teachings in a completely simple way so that the basis of the mechanism is understandable to all. Since the heavenly soul was created from the origin of creation, and due to the fact that planet Earth is at a low level in terms of distance from the origin of existence, Master Elohim called this process of dominance descending course of the soul, or simply descending curve. Ascending curve in the process of spiritual perfection. However, the heavenly soul is connected through the human soul with the physical body in the material world. This means that the phase of the descending curve has passed. But this descending course must have a special reason behind it, otherwise a futile action would have taken place, and for those who believe in a perfect God, as well as for rational and reasonable people, it is not conceivable that God would carry out absurd actions. With an in-depth study in the teachings of the Master, we find that the reason for the formation of a system consisting of a basharic, human, and a heavenly soul, namely a true self or TS plus a physical body, is due to the fact that each of these components has certain tasks. The body is responsible for sending the information from the environment received through sensory organs to the true self and for receiving the instructions of the true self. The basharic soul is responsible for instinctive actions. In general, it is responsible for the biological activities of the body. The heavenly soul is the essential part of the system. It deals with thinking and creativity and is the one who must carry out the process of perfection. It is important to note that the basharic soul and its body together form a primary system that can live on without a heavenly soul. While a heavenly soul can never have biological life on earth without this system. Therefore, the point is that the heavenly soul forms a much more extensive system through its connection with this system, which gives it the possibility to become familiar with earthly events and thus enable the completion of its perfection. Regarding this connection, It should be remembered that it is possible that some relatively advanced souls may be allowed to complete the rest of the perfection process in the hereafter. Although the process of soul perfection is always associated with small advances and regressions, generally moves towards the perfection of the soul. However, this process is called the ascending course of the soul because it starts in such a low-value place like planet Earth and leads to an incredibly high-value place like the origin of creation. Another reason why Master Elohi has called this process an ascending process is that the soul must not return to its previous phase. The only exception is in very rare cases where a very defective soul is temporarily connected to the corpse of a plant or animal. This leads to the elimination of the soul's faults and thus to the progress and ascension of the soul, because this punishment has a pedagogical aspect. Another important issue in this respect is that the four main soul groups, namely mineral, plant, animal and bashar, never return to their subordinate levels and phases. For example, the soul of a plant will never return to the mineral phase after death, but will either enter a more experienced and powerful soul group in the same phase, or if it is in the final stage of the plant phase, it will enter a group that is to produce the next generation of a primitive animal. Likewise, a basharic or human soul, consisting of a series of homologous and analogous perfect animal souls and some of the effects of the 7 factors of creation, will not fall into the animal phase because, scientifically speaking, a strong magnetic field is not attracted to a weak magnetic field but can be affected by it. Turning point. In the human phase, which is regarded as the 5th phase, the soul often makes mistakes in dealing with the difficulties and trials of its earthly life and thus enters the wrong path, to which the karma system reacts, which can therefore produce a temporary step backwards. Some of these people have been so evil in their various earthly lives that they have lost all the possibilities and privileges that normally all people have in their life on earth, and so get themselves into an extremely difficult situation. It is only in such a critical situation that many of these fallen souls will realize that they have lost almost everything, have wasted time, and that time is almost up. In this situation, almost all these people want to change the direction of their life with all their heart. This strong desire moves the unshakable help of God, this point of decline, where every person becomes aware of his or her dangerous situation and therefore decides to change the direction of life to the path of ascent, is called the turning point. With these brief explanations, we can easily see that what Master Elohi's teachings on the perfection of the soul offer us is completely different from the reincarnation theory or similar theses, and while does not contain the usual shortcomings of reincarnation, is able to describe logically, reasonably, and scientifically all the stages of soul perfection. End of Part 3. Research and Investigation. Farah Mars Tabish. Source: the book Knowledge of the Soul by Ustad Elohi.